Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about the future that we were promised. Because I look back at when I was a kid and I used to envision what the future would be like what would 2025 be like. And it was just nothing like I thought it would be, right? It's nothing like that. And I really thought there was like one of two possibilities for the future. Number one, it would be like a George Jetsons thing, right? We'd all have flying cars and traffic wouldn't be an issue. We'd go to work and do something fun all day for our job. Yeah, I mean, if they can split atoms and shit, then they can figure out how to make jobs fun. You know what I'm saying? You would think, but you go to work all day and you do an enjoyable job and it would be fun, and you come home and you'd be tired, but you had a good day, like that, and your robot maid would have everything sparkling clean. When you walk through the door, the countertop would glint at you because your maid had shined everything up, and she came and took your shoes and stuff like on Jetsons. And you'd have a thing on the wall, some kind of machine that you just told it what you wanted to eat, and it would make you this delicious, healthy food, and everybody would be in shape and happy, and we'd have really cool things, entertainment things like going to the movies or whatever, and there'd be all kinds of cool stuff, sports and entertainment, and it would just be cool and awesome, and everybody would get along, something like that. And, your biggest worry, your biggest stress in life would be, to get your son to quit riding his hoverboard in the house. You know what I'm saying? That would be like the biggest thing that happened to you during the week was that your son, knocked over the robot while she was cleaning or carrying coffee or something. That would be your big stress. We wouldn't have to worry about our kids online with porn and all this shit. So yeah, that was kind of one generalized picture of the future that I had. It was just high tech, very convenient, but happy. Okay, I didn't envision us having to trade all of this other stuff in for convenience, right? I mean, we have a lot of convenience now, but we had to trade a bunch of shit for it. Freedom and money and all this stuff. Happiness, genuine happiness, fulfillment, all this stuff. And what we get in return is a bunch of like meaningless convenience. So I thought that the convenience would be there, but I didn't realize the trade-off when I was younger. I didn't realize that there was going to be a trade-off, in my late teens and early 20s. I just didn't see that. And then on the other side, I said that was one of two futures that I thought we might have. The other future that I foresaw and kind of rooted for was like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic future. Like every man for himself, just completely rugged individualism and survival of the fittest, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Where, you lived by your wits and your guile or your strength, and it would just be every person for themselves, and that one I could deal with. I might die in the first 3 days, but I wouldn't cry about it. For those 3 days, I think I'd be pretty cool with it. But I really thought that we were headed for one of those two things. Because of all of the movies and the media stuff, the Jetsons and the other futuristic stuff we saw, and then the post-apocalyptic stuff, Terminator, Mad Max. I just thought Mad Max was probably the most realistic version of the of the post-apocalyptic future. Now it's kind of with this AI and stuff and all these robots and shit, it's looking more like Terminator. But back then, I didn't know. But instead of one of those two, with a lot of convenience and niceties and happiness, or a lot of freedom and hardships and individualism, we're stuck in this really chaotic, confusing world where people don't even know if they're men or women. Prejudice and racial division hasn't gone away. If anything, it's gotten worse. I know it's gotten worse since the 80s, but it's gotten worse, than even the 70s and 60s and shit. And it's a confusing time. People don't know what they are. They're identifying as dogs and cats and shit. And it's just not what I thought it was gonna be. I mean, honestly, this is just pathetic. When I look back I look back at myself and I looked at the future and someone told me that this is what it was gonna be like, I would have laughed at them. I would have made fun of them. I mean, seriously and earnestly, I would have made fun of them. People think they're dogs and cats. Are you kidding me? That's never going to happen. That's just ridiculous. People are going to be too busy flying around in their cars and playing, sky golf and stuff and doing all kinds of cool stuff to be pissing in a litter box. That's just stupid. And then the school system is just a chaotic mess, indoctrinating these kids with all this weird bullshit and all of these wars still going on. If there was a war, I would have thought it would have been a war versus machines or something, humanity versus aliens or humanity versus machines or something like that. Not just a bunch of little shitty petty wars all over the world between people. I would have thought we'd been beyond that. Fighting over just ideas and shit, or a patch of dirt. I mean, come on, but that's the kind of shit that just blows my mind when I look back and look at the naive me that used to be and how I used to look forward at this time now. You know what I mean? And it makes me wonder how naive I am now about 30 years from now, when I'm 80. You know what I'm saying? What's the world going to be like when I'm 80? Because it's going to change a lot. And there's no telling what, with the advent of AI and robots and stuff. Think about the advent of the internet. And when it first started, it was cool and it was awesome. And you could email and get in these chat groups and stuff and talk online. Now, who foresaw all this shit that we have today? Netflix, that company that used to mail you DVDs in the little red sleeves, is now they're making movies and they're a big streaming platform and shit. You couldn't stream on the internet back then. Who the hell? You looked at the internet back then with that boo sound, and like there. And, it'd take half an hour to load up a web page, and you're like, there's no way that we're just going to be watching movies on this shit. There's no way. They're going to have to come up with something else if they want to watch a movie on this damn thing. But, yeah, that kind of shit, you just couldn't foresee that back then, right? You couldn't foresee all of the changes and how the technology would change our lives with Pornhub and OnlyFans and all this shit. Who would have thought back then in the late 90s that these teenage girls were going to be making $50,000 a month just shaking their ass in front of a webcam? I mean, nobody thought that. Nobody thought any of this shit was going to happen. I mean, some people predicted some of the things, but nobody foresaw just the advent of social media in general, just the whole group of the thing, right? The Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X now, all that stuff combined, social media, what kind of influence it wields in society. On opinions, on, everything. It changes people's minds overnight about a person or a thing, an event. So yeah, nobody could have foreseen that. So what I'm looking at now is with the advent of these large language models and AI in these robots. And I haven't even started talking about quantum computing yet. When that shit starts kicking in, I don't even know what the hell is going to happen. But just AI and robots, what kind of stuff is going to happen that we don't foresee? Is going to have a huge impact, like social media or like, porn on the internet. It's something just pervasive and throughout and has such a huge impact that we don't even foresee. Not even, we don't even consider it now. It's outside of our perception. But when one random person gets a flaky ass idea while he's trying to go to sleep, and then he jumps up and starts programming it at 2:00 in the morning and then it catches on and it becomes a phenomena and changes the world. Just like Facebook and, all that other stuff. So yeah, something like that's going to happen. We just don't know what yet. And will it be for good or ill? Because in a lot of ways you can say that social media has done a lot of good, but in a lot of ways it's done a lot of bad. Because social media is basically censorship honed down and refined to perfection. They censor you and people cheer for them. Oh great, I didn't want to see that. That was so horrible. Yeah, instead of just clicking off of it or scrolling past it, they want to complain about it and get you banned and get your account suspended or whatever, get your video yanked. I just feel let down, disappointed, cheated out of the future that I was basically promised. I mean, it wasn't an assigned agreement or anything, but I had a really solid vision of the future, one of two futures, and I didn't get either one. And I didn't come up with these futures on my own. I got them from the media, from the entertainment industry, from cartoons and movies and stuff that were shown to me. And both of them, I think, are both of my visions for the future when at 20 were better than the real world now. The real world is boring. It's stupid. There's a lot of, now we're headed toward idiocracy. That's what I think now. I look around and honestly, I think idiocracy. So I'm probably wrong about that because I was wrong before. But yeah, that we're like in the first stages of idiocracy, and it's confusing and just not fun. The movies coming out now are just boring and trivial. Maybe that's just me, but they're just dumb. I try to watch movies now. I honestly do. I've watched movies. I watched that movie Civil War, about a civil war and and it was just kind of a shallow attempt, hacking on Trump or something, and just it wasn't real good. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't really horrible. It was just like watered down milk. You know what I mean? It wasn't disgusting, but it wasn't good either. It was like that. And that's how most of the movies are now. They're just vanilla, watered down bullshit. And I've kind of given up on trying to watch movies now. I mean, even, I don't know, even the ones that look great, like Civil War, you know, you're thinking post-apocalyptic shit and stuff. And I don't know. It was just kind of lame. I thought it was going to be better. But again, I was wrong. I'm wrong about so much shit. If I should do a whole video, but it would just be a long video about all the shit I've been wrong about in my life. But yeah, this whole future thing, I was definitely wrong about that. So I'm probably wrong about the Idiocracy, but that really seems to me like that's where we're headed. People are just getting dumber by the second, and I mean really dumb. And it's a sad reality, but this is the future we got. This boring, bad movies, you know, doom scrolling bullshit, internet challenges, Tide Pod eating bullshit, all this dumb shit that happens. It's just dumb, and the wars just continue to go on, and the news just continues to lie, and the world just continues to end. It's just ending so slowly. They won't just pick up the pace and get it over with. They keep telling us, oh, it's another 10 years. It's another 10 years. They keep kicking that can down the road, you know. It used to be the Ice Age and shit. Now it's whatever, warming, whatever, or change. So, yeah. But at least with this new one, the change, it's changing. It always has changed, so it's going to continue to change. So we can't say they're wrong about that. Can't say they're wrong about that. It took them about 40 years, but they finally wised up to what they were doing wrong, learned from their mistakes, and just started calling it change. But yeah, so I wish they just bring that on, just you know, bring on the end of the world so we can get it over with and get started with whatever's next. All this, it's going to end, you know, 10 years from now. I've been hearing that since I was 10. And it just doesn't seem like it wants to end. The world just keeps resisting them. The world hates them. It won't. It just won't. It won't comply. The world just continues to spin around and existing this whole time. And that would just have to piss you off if you were one of those scientists or one of those news anchors that keep crying about the end of the world. Yeah, you'd have to get frustrated with the old world once in a while. And I'll leave you there. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. T-shirts, coffee mugs, hoodies, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. But I'll put that link down in the description too, if you're interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much to those of you who do that. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.